Hello everyone and welcome back to Agoraphobia. Today we'll be going over each hero's basic abilities and how they function in teamfights with their role. So, first we'll start with Decker. Decker is a support. She'll be peeling for carries, she has the tools to do so. She also has the tools for hard engage, so she functions in both forms, unlike Miro, who's a pure support. So, we'll start off with her passive, Mana Share. She gives mana to nearby allies every time she uses an ability. It's based on the percentage of the max cost of the ability, so if her status bomb, say, costs 52 mana to use, she's going to give about 20 to nearby allies and such. Her auto attack is fairly basic. She's a support, doesn't do much damage. Her status bomb, as stated before, it's a bouncing bomb. It will bounce along the ground, it will deal a fair amount of damage and stuns on hit. The stun duration is increased based on how far it travels. Her right click is rocket boots. She jumps in the air and gains max move speed. It also gives nearby allies max move speed, and so she can leap up ledges of this, leap over her ulti wall with it, and generally speed up her team for repositioning, escapes and such. Her E is Slow Bubble. She places down an AoE bubble that after a certain amount of time, or when she reactivates it, will pop and deal some damage. It slows down all movement, but won't slow down any projectile speeds or anything. Her ultimate is Containment Fence. She'll place down a circular fence, think Jarvan Wall, where it will contain enemies in, and you can shoot through it. They can't. They can't move through it, neither can your allies. All minions can move through, but it's meant for stopping their projectiles, so you can set up AoE teamfights, again hard engage, or peel for carries by keeping them safe inside the fences, because they can't be hit through the wall. The second support, Uriel. She's a pure support. She literally, all she can do is peel really. Her only form of engagement is a Q. So her passive, it gives nearby health regen to any allies that have a shield. This can be shields through her own kit, or through Steel's kit, or through anyone's kit, or through items. Her auto attack, again fairly basic like Decker, doesn't do much damage, she's a support. Bad scalings. Her Q, Alacrity, right click rather, is Alacrity. She'll fire an orb that shields an ally. It's very long range, it also gives them extra move speed. It's a large shield, doesn't last very long though, burst shielding. Her Q, Serenity, it fires a projectile that will go through enemy minions dealing damage, and if it hits heroes it will damage them again and deal a big slow. So that's her only form of engagement, but it's also generally her peel ability if her melee's on her carry. Her E, Consecrated Ground, that will place an AoE bubble on the ground that gives shields to nearby allies. Again, after a certain amount of time it will pop like Decker's and deal damage, but she can't reactivate it to damage it. To detonate it. Her ulti is Reversal of Fortune. She'll take a second to charge up, and when she's ready she can select any ally on the map. She'll fly to their location, but they'll instantly receive a shield before she arrives, so as soon as she clicks. When she does arrive, it will deal a massive knockback to nearby enemies and give them your allies a shield. Then she can of course interact with the carry in terms of giving them extra shields or tank and slow down enemies, so it's a good global ability. She can use it across the map, and she has massive presence in this sense. Next, we'll move on to the carries. So we'll start with Grim, the most recently added character to the game. His passive, after every 8 seconds, his next basic attack will deal some bonus damage, well actually quite a lot of bonus damage, it's almost like a crit worth of damage, and reduces their energy armor by about 22, so just over 1 card point worth of penetration. This makes him very powerful every 8 seconds. Just if he lands that auto attack with crit late game, he can take out carries with 1 shot, so you've got to be really careful of it and make sure he misses it, because then he's got 8 seconds of downtime on probably one of his most powerful skills. His auto attacks scale amazingly. He's a carry, he builds well with crit, attack speed and damage. You want to build him as such. His right click is Deflector Shield. He gains briefly gains a shield. It's only like 0.5 to a second. You need to be really careful with it and use it on reaction. It blocks the next enemy income ability, and if it blocks something, he gains extra mana, so he gains about 20 extra mana from how much it costs. So you want to try and use it successfully, or you're going to run out of mana very quickly. Here's Q with Displacement Blast. It's like how it's a Landmine, it knocks enemies back, but it doesn't have a delay, so it's a lob shot, so it fires like a rampage rock, and when it hits the area, it will knock all enemies away from the center of the explosion and knock them back and deal some damage. Good for self-peeling. And hard engage. His E is Suppression Mode. It's a toggle. He can toggle it on and off whenever he wants. Each basic attack when toggled on will consume some mana and apply a 40% slow for 1.5 seconds. So you toggle it on, you shoot them once, then you toggle it off, shoot them a couple times, toggle it back on, shoot them once, toggle it off, and shoot them a couple times like that to keep applying the slow. It's good for, again, self-peeling and chasing. His ultimate is GTFO. It's Gyro Targeted Force Orb. not the alternative, which most people know, but it's kind of humour for epic. And he locks onto an enemy hero. After a short channel, he'll fire this orb. The orb will pass through the world and non-hero units, so anything that's not a hero it will go through. If it's an enemy hero, the target will block it, but if it hits the target or anyone that's blocked it, it will deal a crazy amount of damage to that one target. Very powerful ability in the right hands, but it's essentially a weaker Murdock ult in the fact that it's not just an AoE line skill shot, but then again, this is targeted, so there's a lot less skill in using it, and it's less dodgeable by the enemy. Murdock. He is, again, another carry, does energy damage like Grim, and is very good at long range and scales amazingly with damage and crit with his auto attack and a bit of attack speed. His passive is Hot Pursuit. He gets extra move speed. He runs basically as fast as melee characters rather than ranged, which gives him big advantage in terms of positioning in fights and chasing, and also escaping. He's got great self-peel in the form of his right-click, which is shielding shot. He blocks some damage in front of him for a few seconds, and if he reactivates it, it would deal damage and knock back any enemies near him to get assassins and fighters away from him. His Q is Buckshot. He fires an AoE cone that's short range, and it does lots of damage and shreds energy armor, like an AoE Grim passive shot, with a bit less damage, but it functions as an ability as well. His E is Static Trap. He places a trap on the ground that does damage and applies a slow to enemies that it hits and walk over it, so he can use this to cut off choke points and prevent ganks and such in travel modes, and self-peel again with his right click. His ultimate is Devastating Blast. After a short duration, it will fire a targeting beam and then fire a big beam that does crazy damage in an AoE line that's extremely long range, about half the map, and can be used to pick off targets, good for AoE teamfighting in corridors and such. So again, he functions as a carry like Grim, stay on the back line, supports peel for you, you just deal lots of damage for your auto attacks. Second to last hero on our list, which is the second to last carry on our list, is Sparrow. She deals physical damage. Again, auto attack, as per the other two carries, scales 12 damage, attack speed, crit, what you want to build on her. Her passive is Relentless. Successive hits on the same target deal additional damage, so every auto attack she lands on someone, she'll deal a bit more damage than the next auto attack with them. This also applies on her abilities, so if she right clicks or Qs an enemy, then she'll deal extra damage to them with her next auto attack. And it stacks up several times. Her right click is Piercing Shot. While holding, she charges an arrow that does some, when she releases, does a load of damage and pierces through all targets and terrain, so she can shoot it through walls. It's good for picking off enemies in travel mode, picking off stray kills if they're on very low HP, so it's very long range and very useful in that manner. Also good for wave clear with her Q. Hail of Arrows. She places an AoE like Gideon's Meteors, and over time would deal lots of physical damage. Place down the Q and the right click, you can clear a wave of minions very quickly. Her E is Invigorate. She gains 40 attack speed for the next 3 shots, so next 3 shots she shoots very quickly. This functions well for her ultimate in a fire, where she fires 3 piercing arrows in a cone for the next 10 seconds. So arrows pierce through targets and fire 2 side arrows. These arrows will deal 30, 60, 90 based on the level of the ability, percent damage of your primary attack damage, so less than the middle one, but it's great for AoE team fighting, so Sparrow's really good at flanking with a Uriel ult, getting in their faces, hitting multiple targets with auto attacks with her ulti, making her a huge AoE teamfight threat, and she has amazing wave clear. Last carry is Twin Blast, last character on our list. His passive is On a Roll. He has increased attack speed. He doesn't need to build as much to hit the cap. About 95 attack speed at level 15 with his Q on is capped attack speed. So you don't have to build too much on him. His basic attack, he scales really well with damage and crit, less so with attack speed because he has so much default, so build lots of damage early game and lots of crit late game. And yeah, he shoots a lot faster than everyone else. His right click is Rocket Dash. He dashes in the direction he's moving, very good for repositioning, chasing, escaping, very powerful in the right hands. His Q is Nitro. He just gains extra attack speed for a short duration, about 5 seconds. It's why he doesn't need to put so much attack speed. Scales well to late game with extra damage. Doesn't do too much early, but you want to level it up early, just so when it is maxed you do see significant DPS increase from it. Its E is Grenade. He can use this for wave clear later on, but early on you want to use it for the slow. He fires a grenade to a duration that he fires a grenade to a location, and after a short duration, it will explode, dealing damage and slowing enemies, which is useful for, again, repositioning peeling, because he can slow them and then use his ultimate, which is Barrage. He fires a salvo of rockets that scales better off his attack speed, but also increases with damage. They can't crit, so scale well badly to late game, so late game he wants to use it for wave clear over for team fights. But if he can get onto a backline, he can slow an enemy with a grenade, then he can use his barrage and hit every rocket, which deals a lot of damage, and it deals an AoE damage where they actually hit, so you can actually hit multiple targets, and it goes through minions, so you can clear waves of it. TB has the highest DPS of every carry late game due to his innate attack speed. He's very powerful in that sense, and early game is probably the weakest carry due to his low auto attack damage, even if he does shoot faster and has a slow. So you want to peel for him, you want to keep him alive, and he's going to deal all your damage for you. I hope this was useful to you, and this helps you understand who you want to play and how to play them in general. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.